uh, Shed. Also chair of the AMSA.
Brian Christensen.
I am with the virtual men's shed in Edmonton.
Michael Hoyt.
I'm a social worker with the City of Edmonton, whose portfolio is engaging men in building healthy relationships. That's my connection to sheds.
Adam in Calgary.
It's a bunch. I run a weekly event. Maybe I'll put it in there. It's called a Happy Cafe. Yeah, just trying to learn more about men's sheds. So that, different, right? Reaching out to males and females can be different. So glad to be here.
You need that right now?
Dave Williamson.
Yeah, Dave Williamson here. I'm with the Medicine Hat Men's Shed. Glad to be here.
Leah.
Hi, I'm Leah Jackson from Barrhead, Alberta, and I work with the Barrhead and District FCSS as a program coordinator. And we're just looking at getting something set up here. And I believe we have a couple of reps coming from Alberta Men's Shed to our Seniors Expo on June 6th. So we welcome anybody that can come out.
Hillary.
Hi, I'm Hillary from the Town of Cochrane Family and Community Support Services. I am a community development worker for older adults, and I've been supporting a group of men in our community to get Men's Shed up and going.
Graham.
Holy crap.
Graham Baker from Jasper. We're about to get going. We've been at it for about 6 months now, getting everything together, getting the society organized, and trying to acquire a building. That's us.
Ted in Innisfil.
Sorry, Punch, were you talking to me? I was just closing the door.
Yeah, I'm talking to you now.
Okay, I can't get my video to work today for some reason, but anyway, I'm Ted Parks. I'm the president of Central Alberta Men's Shed Society in the Innisfil branch. Up and comers, we've got getting new members almost every week, and we're going to do some fantastic things here.
Jim Martin.
Yeah, I'm with West Country Men's Sheds. We set up about 4 years ago, and we're about 50 kilometers south and west of Red Deer, and we're in a rural area.
Richard.
Hello, Richard Nasedkin in Grand Prairie, and we have a men's shed. We meet 3 times a week, and we get 12 to 18 guys at a meeting.
Whoa.
Sandy in Lethbridge.
Interested party in Lethbridge. Punch was down and did a presentation this last month. And we've been kind of following Men's Shed now for just about 2 years, trying to get a group together to move this along, hopefully using one of our senior centers or potentially a couple of nonprofits and their structure to help support.
John in Cochrane. You're muted, John.
Morning, gentlemen, everybody else. I'm working with Hillary out in Cochrane here. We've been together trying to get organized for the last few years, trying to find a structure. We've been meeting collectively as an organization team for about 2 years to try and get ourselves formulated. Had some audiences with Punch as well. So look forward to some communication with everybody here. Thank you.
Karen, do you want to tell us what you do to support us?
Nothing. I'm with Healthy Aging Alberta, and I'm a coordinator with the initiative, and my role is to make sure Amanda's all good. So I'm just going to kind of sit in the background. I'm really excited to hear about men's sheds. I hear about them from Amanda all the time, and I've never had the opportunity to listen in and be part. So I'll be kind of silently hanging out in the background supporting.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I'm going to surprise Amanda with right now is I'm just going to ask her to give a quick overview of where some of these roundtables are taking place that are being sponsored by Healthy Aging Alberta, Core Alberta, and some of you on the call right now are going to be at these roundtables. So Amanda, you want to take it away for a couple minutes?
You did surprise me. Let's see if I can actually remember where all of these sessions are. So yeah, we are in Healthy Aging Alberta's regional gathering season. So if you haven't signed up for a regional gathering yet, definitely I would encourage you to sign up for one. Men's Sheds is involved in quite a few of our regional gatherings as hosts of conversation cafes. So it's a good opportunity to attend. There'll be a lot of other information there, but we do have shedders from across the province at these gatherings to sort of give advice and support and their experience and take questions. Last week we had one in Grand Prairie, and Richard hosted a cafe. And actually our surveys said that it was the best thing from the regional gathering. So Richard, great job. Wonderful job. We have gatherings in Innisfail, May 30th, Okotoks, May 29th, Calgary, May 2nd, Drumheller, May 15th, Coaldale, April 30th, Anzac on June 10th, Bonnyville on May 27th. There is one in Hinton on May 22nd. There is one in Strathcona County on June 13th. And I believe there's one more in Medicine Hat. And it might be May 30th, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, it is the 30th.
Yeah, you got it.
30th, okay. Yes, so those are all of our regional gatherings and a great opportunity to connect. I believe shedders are involved in pretty much all of them.
Okay, so just so that everybody's maybe aware, Healthy Aging Alberta / Core Alberta has been one of our partners, key partners, along with FCSS, since we got rolling on the rollout of Men's Sheds. The FCSS has approximately 200 offices around Alberta, and Healthy Aging Alberta has a network of around 1,800 practitioners and professionals all over Alberta. The idea for partnering with these groups is clearly to help spread the word of Men's Sheds, and they have all been doing a fantastic job. With Core Alberta, we have our own space, Men's Sheds group, that allows us to do things like this, have webinars or coffee pot sessions, just gatherings to help spread the word. And today's session was kind of consolidated or restricted to shed people. That's where we promoted it. We didn't promote it outside of the shed community. But it's been a fabulous way to spread the word on sheds. The roundtable, being included in the roundtables, allows us to tell our story about Men's Sheds, the history of Men's Sheds, the being part of a global movement, and then having the individuals that are at the roundtable actually do a bit of focus on the shed that they happen to be representing, which gives people a pretty good idea about what sheds do and some of the things that they are involved with on a day-to-day basis. So we're very thankful for our partners with Healthy Aging and FCSS. Any questions about those two partnerships? Okay, I'm going to be sending out later today a reminder of Core Alberta put together a training course, Core 101, which gives you an overview of the core movement. And I can, I'll send that out to all of the sheds. And if you're interested, you can take a look at those. New shed list. We've jumped up about 8 sheds in the last 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months, and which is a great sign. We're at 28 sheds now in Alberta, and each one is unique, as you know, and each one has slightly different focuses. Wayne, was there anything that you wanted to mention to the troops?
No, not a lot, Punch. We've put out a number of publications through our grant from Health Age. If anybody requires or would like anything, they can contact either yourself or myself, and we'll be happy to get anything out that can be helpful or provide touch points for them if they're interested in what we're doing exactly.
Okay. Anybody want to jump in and give us a little tidbit on their shed? Richard?
How come I thought you would ask me first? So the thing, where can I start? We're a sponsored shed in Grand Prairie, so we're sponsored through the Resource Center for Suicide Prevention, and we've got quite a diverse group age-wise. Our youngest active member is 31, and our oldest active member is 78, and we have 2 identified members from the LGBTQ community. And then we have about 3 others that are non-active, but they've been there and felt welcome. So that's been fairly a large focus on it. And it is one thing that we struggle with a little bit, to maintain inclusivity with everybody, and how that inclusivity can also make some people uncomfortable. And so we still want those people that would be uncomfortable with inclusivity to feel included, if that makes sense. And so we're trying to come up with some nice welcoming, and basically it's just be kind. Like that's really what needs to be on the wall. So that's one thing that we are working with. And then the other thing is to try and foster leadership within the members. So having people step forward to want, rather than sit back and tell us what we should be doing, to step forward and say what they would like to do and how they would like other people to contribute. So both of them involve being inclusive and being supportive of people. And that's, I think, where we're at. If there's any questions about the shed itself, it's I'll just stop talking now.
Okay, there's got any questions about this one? Okay, we've got a couple. Go ahead.
Just a quick question, Richard. I know up there, because my brother-in-law is up there, have you included the Grumpy Old Men group, which is an organized group?
No, I haven't heard of them.
They have their own little cards of membership, and they meet there on the south side when they're not in sunny places in the south like my brother-in-law is now. I might mention the organization to him.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay, we had two guys join. Merv, you want to introduce yourself? Merv, have you got your sound on?
And now you can hear my beautiful voice, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm in Calgary. I was originally with the first men's shed group in Calgary called the Calgary Men's Shed, and it started in 2018. I joined in 2019. Now, the COVID hit that pretty hard, and the closure of the center meant that that disappeared. But part of it, I developed the bike shed, and I was able to move it from to my house and then to another place, Greater Forest Lawn. So we have that. We have about 5, 6 guys. We don't have that much space, but we've been going good. We cooperate with another group that's called Youth en Route, and we supply refurbished bikes to high schools, and we've done probably about 250 bikes to schools through them. We also got permission from the landfills to collect bikes there. So we're considering expanding it. We need a few more mechanics. Anybody can volunteer, please come. But Tuesday and we were Tuesdays, and now we want Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we'll have enough bike stations to stands to have a few more people there. Next, on April 30th, I'll be going down to Coaldale to present about the men's shed. Fortunately, I had experience with Punch, and we went down to Lethbridge, and Punch did a knock-up job on presenting men's shed at the Lethbridge Seniors Center, and so this is a good follow-up to that. And Dave, who started a men's shed over in Medicine Hat, he belongs to the Kirby Men's Shed in Calgary. And then we went down, we had a trip down to Medicine Hat, and he liked it so much he moved down there and started a men's shed. So anyways, I'm trying to do the best to do that, and we have some interest in Chestermere and maybe some other places that we have. But anyways, Dave, did you want to say anything about Medicine Hat? Oh, you turn on your microphone.
There we go. Yeah, Medicine Hat, what a lovely place. Just moved down here in September. We got the shed going in sometime late February. We had 17 members at our first group, and we have a core of 7 or 8 guys that come out every week. So we're looking for new members, and I'm wondering if people could tell us how you've gotten members to come and where they come from, and where you put up posters, or how you're getting people to come to the meetings.
Okay, we'll get to that, some suggestions on that. But Monty Johnson joined the group. Where were you hiding, Monty?
Hi, I'm Monty Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm up in Morinville, and we started this off around March 6th or so. We had our first meeting. Now we put our society papers in about 7 to 10 days ago. We have about 22 people in the group right now. We're planning on really starting in the fall to do projects. Right now we have a projects committee looking at what we can do. We've had 3 offers from local businesses to set up shop in one of their areas. 2 are on acreages outside of town, and one is in the industrial site here. So we've located about $3,500 in funds to start off with. So that's where we're basically at.
Great. That's quite an accomplishment, because I remember I think the first meeting was in January when you guys stepped up and said you were going to do this. So that's congratulations are in order.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, of course, there's always a core group of 4 or 5 of us that are pushing this forward. We hope to have our plan in place by the end of May, so we can really kick off in September.
Does anyone have any suggestions for Dave in Medicine Hat in terms of attracting new members? Posters, signs, standing on the corner, twisting arms?
I can speak to what we're doing. We gave it to our local family services. We posted in the library. We're posting at Tim Hortons, A&W, places where guys hang out. So that's what we're doing.
Graham Baker.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in Jasper, what we're doing on that regard is organize ourselves to go to the street markets and other sales, the church sales, and we're going to set up a table with some of our workings that we do. I'm a model maker, so I'll be taking models and with cards and handouts of paperwork to tell them what we're doing and, to come and join us.
Oh,
Great. Anyone else?
Step in here, maybe Punch. Whole Lake is a sponsored shed, and we've got a rather different setup here because we have a local businessman that has provided us with a truck bay, and we've tied in with age-friendly Coal Lake. And the agreement we have with age-friendly is that they're paying the heat and light in the shed, and they guarantee us $10,000 a year for our expenditures. Now, what we've found in the past is we've held a number of public meetings, and we've the old adage about food draws everybody. Well, if you put out pizza and soft drinks and that, you'll find that you'll get a crowd. And some of them are just there for the meal, and others that are there definitely to join your shed. And one of the things that we found too that works well is make sure you include the wives, because they are a lot of times the driving force behind getting men out to your shed.
Also through Alberta Men's Shed Association, you can get some posters that you can just print off, and you can they have a blank space in them, so you can print in your when your meeting is at, or some message that you want to have, and they're available in 11 by 8.5 by 11 and the longer one, the legal size, that you can print off on your printers. That's helpful sometimes too. You can get if you need some handout materials, like a brochure. It's not a brochure, but it's a handout. You can just again get those through the Alberta Men's Shed Association. We can send you a package of those, and if you're interested in having goodies on your table, you can get carpenter's pencils as well from Men's Sheds Alberta. Any other secret ideas on getting those folks in the door?
In the PV Mart store franchise is really trying to push the community involvement. And so they have a table once a month that they're looking for community groups to be at. So we were there, and they put the table well into the store. It's not right at the entrance, so it doesn't look like you're selling tickets. What we found really helpful is having, one suggestion was having some models there. We have some ancient, they're ancient tools. They're about 100 years old. So there's some braces and auger bits and some original jack planes. And then I even have a couple that were planes made out of wood, and they just have the blade in them. So we have those on the table, and then it gets an attention for especially the seniors, because they may have even actually worked with them, or their dad worked with them. And then we've had a table, like I have a small business, so I I rented a booth at a trade show, and then I allowed the men's shed to be part of it, which I thought was a good draw because people stopped at the shed table more than they stopped at my railing booth. And so partnering with a business like that can be very helpful. And then I would really emphasize marketing to women, actually. Probably 50% of the members were sent by either a daughter or a wife. Yeah, those are the two driving forces that push men towards the group. And then the third one is that I let go of how many members we have. And I really just concentrate on being able to do something. Like, I think project has to be there, and the food part and the consistency of meeting. As long as you're there when you say you're going to be there. Some nights we just sit and visit, and I'm okay with that. But if there's having a project that we want to work on, even if we just talk about it, keeps guys coming. Otherwise, there's a perception that it's just a pardon the expression, grumpy old men club. So like having that reason to exist that's community orientated.
I think the project idea is a good one. And once you do a couple of projects primarily for the community, you'll find that people will be approaching you to see if something that they have a need for would fit within your project agenda. And in Edmonton, the sheds got together and did picnic tables for transitional housing unit for the homeless, and it was a great event. And there were lots of guys that were there helping to assemble these tables who hadn't had a drill in their hands for 20 years. So you don't have to have a lot of skills, but you do have to have somebody that's sort of your identified project manager that knows one end of the drill from the other, and has a plan in place for making it happen. You should never let Amanda know that you have extra materials, because she is a wizard at finding a use for those extra materials. And in the picnic table case, when she found out there were extra materials, she asked us if we could make benches for a group in Northeast Edmonton, a group of African women who had built a community garden, and they had used the limited amount of money they had and putting it into the garden and the garden equipment. And so we built benches for them for their community garden. So there's things like that. I guess the advice would be, don't skimp on materials, and make sure that they're the type of thing that's going to last a long time. The tables that were built would take a small army to move one, and they were all made out of treated lumber. And so there was no, those tables were going to last for a good length of time. So that's, the project thing is good, and you'll find that you'll be asked to do crazy projects like building dog houses for Northern Alberta. So stuff like that. Have you had any, you guys done any projects? I know the guys in Innisfail are pushing out projects all the time. So Ted, what are you guys up to there? You're muted, Ted. Ted's gone.
I think Jim might have had a question. It looked like he had his hand up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just a comment on trying to recruit people. Go to your local senior center. In our case, they meet for coffee once a week, and it divides into one room with women, one room with men. and you actually orchestrate your presentation depending who you're talking to. If you're talking to the men, don't talk about mental health benefits and things like that. Talk about sharing skills, projects, and camaraderie. With your in front of the women's group, talk about mental health, depression, incidents of suicide. Getting the old fella out of their hair, and you'll find that the ladies are big promoters of men's shed. That was my suggestion.
Jim, do you want to just mention where your workshop is located?
Yeah, we've been running for 5 years now. We negotiated with the Spruceview School and to use their shop after the kids leave at 3:30. And they've got a fully outfitted woodworking shop and a metal shop. And it's worked well for the last 5 years for us. And we've got about 19 members, and 8 come regularly every week. We're out there this afternoon. And we're doing quite a few projects. Right now, we're building 50 picnic tables for the Friends of the West Country. There's some museums around, and we built a big diorama for the museums and did some maintenance work for them. And we applied for New Horizons grants. I got approved twice. And we brought in instructors on cottonwood bark carving, Danish chip carving, and welding. And we're just organizing one right now to buy a small forge, bring in a guy for blacksmithing course, knife making courses. And we're doing a lot of trips to local museums and industries. Last year, we went down on a 2-day trip down to the Reynolds Carriage Museum because a lot of our guys are Teamsters. And it's going well. We've got some money to spend this year too on tours, which we'll be working on over the summer, as we don't have access to the school through the summer months.
Yeah, Jim's been doing a fabulous job there for quite a while. He's been keeping things secret. So we're going to try and use this method to highlight what you guys are all doing, because it's extremely valuable hearing these stories. Who else have we got here? Michael.
Graham.
Michael
Graham.
has. Okay, Graham. Go ahead, Graham.
Yeah, I'm wondering how the clubs, we call it the club, how the clubs talk to their potential new members. What we have found is they think that all we do is carpentry. And we have tried to encourage them, no, I don't want to do carpentry. But that's the stigma we have here in Jasper. How do the other people go about telling their potential new members?
I'd like to answer that. Our shed has a book club as well. We meet on that. The book club meets once a month on Thursday nights in the same space. And none of the guys that are in the book club come to any of the other meetings. And so we put posters out that are specific for the book club. But I also, when I'm talking to people, I say that ours is woodworking because I'm a woodworking retired shop teacher, and woodworking is the easiest thing to learn if you've never done it before, but it's not the only thing. And I just emphasize that it's whatever the members want to do. So if somebody wanted to refinish, I could build puzzles, build models. We have a 3D printer was donated, but nobody's using it yet, but it's available if anybody wanted to join. So I just emphasize that it's whatever the members want to do. And in fact, there's out of the 18 guys, there's only 4 guys that like working in the shop so far. The other ones literally come for the free coffee.
The Brian Christensen is on here somewhere.
I know
Brian.
that John also seemed to have a question, and
Okay.
so we'll have to get to him too.
Okay, John.
It's a simple question, Punch. In Cochrane, we're not struggling. We're trying to find a place. So I really enjoyed the thought that Jim had come forward Jim, did you approach the school specifically, or did you approach the school board for use of their shop? Just give some background. And then if anybody else has some ideas of how they got their space, would be wonderful as well for us in Cochrane.
As Jim, we approached the principal of the school and explained our concept and the reason we were doing it. We got a good support from him. His position was, this facility has been paid by taxpayers. We might as well make use of it more than just a few hours of the day that it's in school. And then they approached the school board and they got approval to do that, to allow us in.
Fantastic. And liability insurance under the sheds model, or are you under the school model?
Yeah, we buy our own liability insurance through a grant through the county. And we got a $2 million liability and that seems to work well. And we did a lot. We try to make it a win-win for the school. We did a lot of maintenance on their equipment and build tables and shelves and stuff for the shops so that the school is getting a benefit out of our use of it as well. And having courses, we haven't been able to get students involved yet, but this one coming up on blacksmithing, we're going to try to get students involved in that course as well.
Do you have a waiver for the guys that come in as far as use of the tools, just from your perspective, from the sheds?
Yes, yeah, we developed a waiver. When they sign up, we ask them to sign a waiver. And I just developed a one waiver sheet. I don't know how good it is.
It's great. At least you got it covered. Good. And anybody else got any ideas on how they approached? I heard some sponsorship of the Cold Lake guys to get that guy with the one bay, but businesses or other places to get their shed existing inside the town. We've got one outside of town, but it's too far for everybody. That's a question.
Richard, okay, Graham, go ahead. You're muted, Graham. Okay, Richard, can you tell them about your arrangement that you have for your space?
Yeah, I started the shed by sponsoring it myself as a small businessman. I rented a space that was larger than I needed for my business. And I convinced the landowner to provide that space for free. So I got a reduced rent. So it was a rent that I could afford for as a business. And then I had a 2-car garage size space that was really quickly too small for what we were wanting to do, because we were focusing on woodworking. Then I convinced the landowner to provide the bay next door that was empty. And I just said, hey, can you give this to us for free? Because at least you have a business in a space it looks like your building is more full. Because right now it's half empty. It's eight bays, I think, is the size of the strip mall. And he didn't provide it for free, but he did provide it for $1,200 a month. Which includes triple net, which is $700. So basically we're paying $500 a month for it. And then suicide prevention is using gaming funds. So Alberta Gaming is paying it's about $25,000 a year for our space. And so I just walk up and I start real high. Like I just say, can you give this to us for free? So in a small town, there's probably about 6 businessmen or business people, but they're probably men as well, that own 3/4 of the buildings. And so I would just cold call them and ask for the space.
I know that Brian has his hand up, and then afterwards Monty has his hand up.
Okay, well, all the sheds we've been talking about, excuse me, have been working sheds, like building things. Now, my shed is a little different because we are a virtual shed. With the aging population like it is, there's a lot more seniors, and out of those seniors, there's a lot of guys with mobility issues. So the ideal thing is to have these people come to a virtual shed, and that way they can sit in the comfort of their own home, and we get presenters that come and present for us. And the nice thing about my shed, it's not restricted to any kind of a border. Like if you had somebody in Medicine Hat that wanted to join the shed but couldn't come out, we're virtual, so anybody can come to any of our meetings. We're just starting out now. Now, virtually during COVID, we had 100 meetings during COVID virtually. So it's pretty good. And we're just starting to get back into it again. So anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a shout. Thank you.
Okay, so Brian has a partnership with the University of Alberta, and they've been helping him find speakers to do those sessions, and they're fantastic. So that's another thing that you may want to think about in Jasper for the guys who aren't woodworking. You may want to think about speakers, and initially you may want to think about people in your own community that might have something valuable to tell them. It could be, I don't know if they would have time, but some of the people from the park system, the national park system, or somebody that could spin a yarn about the Jasper Park Lodge and the history of that whole facility. But so there's things that you could start off with in your own community that people may not be aware of.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Monty had his hand up for quite a while. Did you want your turn now, Monty? And then
Yes,
I
wouldn't mind.
Wayne.
Yes, what happened with our club is that I'm part of the Rotary Club here, and I approached the Rotary Club, and there's where I got my 3 offers for setting up shop. So if you have a Rotary Club or a Lions Club, approach them because they're businessmen in town and they'll help you out. As to various things that our club is looking at, 3 of us are artists in the club, so we're looking at doing painting. Also, a number of the guys are musicians, but they didn't have anybody else to play with. So now we have a musicians group. We also have an auto group and a woodworking group. So there's a number of different things that we're doing, and we'll probably expand that to other venues too.
Wayne, and then I believe Merv.
Yeah, one of the things that when we started out, there was a local businessman, and I got to admit I had an inside because my wife worked for him for 40 years as his bookkeeper. But he has a building with 7 truck bays in it. And the particular truck bay we ended up in, he came to me one day and he says, you know, I've rented this damn thing for last 5 years. He says, and I've collected about 3 months rent. So he said, I may as well just give it to Minshed and know that I'm not going to get any rent out of it. We then had the front of the bay had a couple offices, and then we hooked up with Age Friendly because they were looking for office space. And between the 2 of us, we've now got set up. Age Friendly, if you're not familiar with it, is making a community age friendly primarily for seniors. And the group here in Cold Lake, we have about, I sit on that board as well. We have about 15 projects going under Age Friendly, which includes things like palliative care, medical transfer and that. But anyway, they moved in. Now they need more office space, and we're talking about trying to find some. So the gentleman that rents us the building has now decided he's going to put a 2nd floor in, just to put additional offices in. So sometimes the connection is there without you really realizing the background, and you got to raise the interest of somebody that's just as interested in having Minshed as yourselves.
Hey, Merv.
Yes, at the Kirby Center, I'm also involved in the shed there, and they already have a woodworking shop in the basement they've been operating for a long time. So we sort of specialize as tech projects, and so we help the center with computers and other things. And this Saturday, we have the Seniors Expo at Kirby Center, which is quite big. At least 2,000 people are going to be visiting it and 200 tables set up. So I've asked to have a men's shed table and I'll occupy it all day. So if some of you are nearby Calgary, please come by on Saturday and come and see the Seniors Expo because it has such a variety of things. And if you have things that you want to promote your shed, then put it on our table, and I will certainly disseminate it. But I see that there's John here from Cochrane, and I've never met him. So you're welcome to contact me and see because I like visiting other sheds, and Medicine Hat is too far
Oh,
to go every week. But I've also joined Brian's presentations over the years, and he's had some really good ones. So I'm certainly be interested in getting us involved in being invited to some more of his talks that are done through Zoom, because they were excellent while he was doing that. So it gives a variety of ideas, and certainly the thing that Punch puts out about men's sheds across the world has a huge amount of ideas to it. So if you haven't subscribed to that, I'd say please subscribe to it.
Thanks for the commercial. No, it's no cost. It's free.
I just want to jump on that. What is that? A global newsletter about men's sheds around the world, Punch?
Yeah, it's basically I collect the stories from all over the world, and I must have well over 1,000 or more stories. But every day I get these stories in, and about once a month I'll punch out a blurb with all of these things listed, and I try to give you a little bit of a statement about what it is. And right now they're just links, but we're trying to refine it to make it more professional looking.
Thank you.
But what is the Happy Cafe?
Oh, that's it's a so I'm involved with a charity called Action for Happiness. So they're based in the UK, but they have groups around the world, and we have a group here in Calgary. So some of the groups in different parts of the world have this thing called a Happy Cafe, where in the context of Calgary, we meet once a week at Carrier Village Commons in the East Village, which actually there's a lot of older men living in the buildings next door. And yeah, so then another question you might have is like, well, what makes it different from any other coffee and connection event? Several of them have been even mentioned today. So the answer to that is they have these principles for happier living. So basically we weave some positive psychology into the first hour, and then we have breakout groups with more connection. But it is more, I would say it's more attractive to females in general, or people that like talking about their feelings and just sitting and talking. And so I'm here to get the other half of the population. Did any of that make sense, Merv?
Yeah. So what time is it?
It's okay. So right now we're taking a break because Carrier is closed for a couple of weeks for construction. It's normally at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, so it's every Wednesday evening, 6:30 to 8:30.
And that's a center near the Upside Down Church, right?
Yeah, it's literally the windows are sealed, but you could, it's not even a stone's throw. You could just flick a stone and hit that church from. It used to be called the Golden Age Club, I think, before Carrier bought it. That same space, second floor of that Calgary housing building there.
Yeah, Shannon talked to me about actually doing a presentation on men's sheds there.
Yeah, you should. It's looking at I'm familiar with a lot of the volunteers at in that space, Carrier Village Commons, and a lot of them are women, you know, and just because they're more social and they're into giving back and whatever. But I'm sure there's a lot of men. I know there's a lot of men that live literally across the street that have a lot of knowledge and want to help. And yeah, they just, for whatever reason, they just sit in their apartments.
Anyone else?
I just want to
Graham.
say we have about 10 minutes left just to keep everybody on track. So
Graham Baker.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Punch or Amanda, what can we expect at Hinton? Like we're still gathering information of how to get going. What is on the agenda and the format of the meeting?
great question. So hopefully you have the link. If not, it is in the chat. Go and register and bring some other guys, register for the Hinton gathering. Jeff Wilson, who has a Jasper shed, will be leading a cafe. So he's going to be talking a little bit about his experience and, you know, sharing some of his insights. And you can certainly ask some questions there. There will be some pamphlets and that type of thing. And of course, you'll be able to connect with me and we can have a conversation about sheds as well, if you like. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
And Wayne has raised his hand.
Amanda, I just wanted to ask if you've seen or have a copy of the 7-page document we recently put out about starting sheds. Punch has some, and it's online if you want some.
Is that the new toolkit that was just produced?
Yes. So
Yep.
it's available electronically. So if you wanted, we can send it out to all of the sheds again.
And if you would like, Graham, I will print out a couple copies and bring them to the Hinton gathering.
Thank you. Yes.
Amanda.
Okay, so for any of the guys that are doing going to be at the roundtables and are going to be doing the cafe, if you need materials, resource materials, then just let me know, and I'll make sure that you have materials for your session.
Good, thanks.
Okay, have you guys found that this has been helpful if we run one of these coffee pot sessions once a month? Would it be helpful? Where they're just general sessions, just so you can chat, as opposed to us having a specific topic or a presentation. And we can have presentations if you wanted to hear about the how the BC Men's Shed guys got going, we can have him come in and speak. Or if you wanted to find out about the Americans, what they're doing, I could get Mark to come in and speak, or the guys in Ontario, if you want to hear about what they're doing. There is a session on April the 30th that is a cross Canada session, very similar to this, but it's right with guys right across the country. And Men's Shed Canada will be talking about some of the initiatives that they've started. Their website program is just starting. Their ambassador program, the grant program and the transition for that. So if you're interested in that, I can send you the link to the April the 30th session.
Punch, how did you learn about that? Is there it's like a calendar of Men's Shed events?
I guess I'm an insider. So there seems to be a flow of anything Men's Shed comes through me, unfortunately. So I get the good news, the bad news, and all the news. So if you, once you get tapped into the MenShed Canada initiative, you'll start to get material. And the same thing for here. We will put out, if you're once you signed up for this, so we will have your email. So the next time we do a session, we'll make sure that your name is on the list, and then you can decide whether you're going to attend or not. But I think there's a whole group of guys in Lethbridge, and Sandy is on the list, and another fellow by the name of Mark Vella, and there were about 20 people showed up for that presentation in Lethbridge. So it's gradually, I think Wayne and I have said, I think we've created a monster when we've reached the tipping point now where more and more people are aware of MenSheds. And I think if we can do anything from a provincial perspective to help you guys, then we'll go out of our way to do it. And to highlight some of the people that have been doing stuff for a long time. Like Jim's been around a long time, busting his butt on MenSheds and doing projects in the community and doing it pretty much in an invisible way. And I think it's important to highlight what you guys are doing and some of the partnerships you have. And some of the successes, but also some of the things that don't work. You know, you find stuff that isn't working and you want to find out, get some help on it. So anyway, it's been an interesting first session for the coffee pot. And Amanda's, thank you very much for being the navigator.
Well, thank you everybody for attending, and I feel like this could go on if we had more time, but we will definitely host another one of these in the future. If you join on the MenSheds core group, I know we are starting to create some folders to hold some documents, things like the toolkit and that type of thing. It's a work in progress, but you can always go back and check, and we will make sure that we have some stuff in there that would be helpful. And you can reach out anytime to myself or any member of the HAA team. You can always reach out to Punch, any of the shedders. Check out the MenShed Alberta website. That's our provincial association. There's also MenShed Canada, which is a national organization, and I know there's some resources there as well. So thank you so much for attending today. I appreciate everyone coming out, and I wish you all a great day.
Thank you, folks. Talk to you later.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. And Punch, thanks for sending that stuff to me.
You're welcome.
Thanks, this was wonderful.